Here we are, the wood shop. I like this better.
Let's do it.
Welcome, everybody, back to Modern Man. This is the show that seeks to rediscover and redeem the heart of man in the modern world. You've probably never seen a setup like this because we've never been set up like this. We got a couple guests to my left and right, which we'll introduce in a little bit, but this is going to be our long-form conversation type episode. As Sam, Noah, and I have been chatting, and as we're relaunching back into Modern Man, we just think this is an important part of what we want to do. And so I'll let Noah kind of kick us into the show. He'll lead our long form conversations. I'll still be doing the normal episodes that you guys have been following. And then Sam will have some more for you later in a new episode type as well. But I'll throw it over.
Yeah,
as well.
Hey dudes, thanks for being here. This is amazing.
Good to be here.
So Henry, Harrison, Schertzinger brothers.
Yep.
I would do an insane intro for you, but I don't think I could cover the list of things that you guys are up to. So first and foremost, you guys are doing amazing things. You guys are killing the game. When we thought about who to bring on this podcast, we're like, you two are like the top people we want to have on here just for what you guys are doing. And so we're super pumped that you guys are the first long form interview we've done, which is exciting. So first long form pod with the Schertzinger brothers. I would love to just throw it over to you guys to just intro who you are, and then we'll flow from there.
Yep, so Henry, Harrison brother. I texted someone today in all caps, and I said 2026 is the year of the builder, and how critical men who create things are, who have a vision and want to see it actually happen. And I think that's kind of been the nature of our last 8 years.
Yep.
Although pretty much everything we've tried to build either didn't work or was a lesson or is continuing to be built, we have luckily been blessed with just like not a spirit that fears failure, but it's led us down some crazy roads and taught us things that I can't wait to just like dive into today. But right now we have something called the Cincinnati Lacrosse Academy. Over the summer we work with like 200 kids. Right now we have 60 to 70 that are pretty consistent coming. Mm-hmm. And that just dives into everything it takes, what we believe to be the best lacrosse player possible. We go into lifting, skills, competition. This summer is going to be super exciting. We already have players telling us they're coming from Seattle and Wisconsin, coming from Tennessee, Michigan, all around the country to spend a week in Cincinnati, which is insane because it's not a hotbed of lacrosse. Mm-hmm. Anyone who knows anything about lacrosse knows Cincinnati is not considered the place to play. And
Yet.
Yeah. We were always told, and this is like a regression, that if we wanted to play at UNC or play at like a top college, we had to go to Buffalo for the summers or Maryland for the summers, just buy a condo in Baltimore and play there. Like that was the only way to make it. And it's pretty exciting now. We can just look at any kid with a dream to play lacrosse in Cincinnati and be like, they have no leverage over you. Like, you completely control your destiny in the game of lacrosse. And I think that's a good start explaining what we do. If you want to take 100%. On the other two missions.
We have the Lacrosse Academy. Then we have the U First Elite Lacrosse Club. So that's our travel arm of taking the most elite players, trying to get them college scholarships. That's a fun piece to it because it's not like an upsell monetarily, but you're funneling the most committed people to the club, and then you get to take them and let them compete. And that's super fun for us. We get to travel, go to our favorite places, go eat at restaurants that we used to eat at with our dad. And then, by the time this episode releases, hopefully these two businesses are ripping. But we've got one called the U Project. The app released last week. Still pretty not super public about it because released V1, then V1.2, 1.3, we're on V2 right now. So I went to V1.10, just fixing bugs for the first week, seeing some layouts that I don't really like, the user experience that's a little off. But point is, U Project, the whole declaration is you're the project, and you got to stop starting over. You got to see things as not so much everything is an identity play, but everything has to be rooted in what we're saying is who you're trying to become. Meaning there's a gap between who you are, who you're trying to become. Mm-hmm. Everything has to be super consistent action towards that. And the app, as we said, establishes foundational discipline, structure, order, allows you to measure what matters, stay committed to who you want to become, self-management, self-mastery. We're going to try to target 13 to 18-year-olds, 18 to 24-year-olds. We'll see what really target avatar hits. We haven't really went on offense yet in terms of marketing, so we don't know what actual like branding package works, because we have the "You Are the Project" and then "Stop Starting Over." We'll see what it actually hits, whether it's the pain point or the passion point. But that's super fun for us because, one, it's been my dream since sophomore year of college to have a platform like that. I mean, I've been obsessed with seeing everything as screw motivation, you need strategy. Stop riding the waves of emotion. You need structure. You need clarity. You need discipline. You need to not let your feelings push you around and start to negotiate yourself out of things. So I used to lay out journals. I would lay out trackers. I mean, I've probably wasted
thousands of dollars.
Easily, I would say easily $10,000.
Yeah.
I've probably put $10,000 into journals that no one has ever seen. And I still have them. Our parents.
It's insane. It's insane. Our basement, because Harrison, if you think what it takes to lay out a journal, you're on Canva.
It's meticulous detail.
You're
It's
on
meticulous
Canva,
detail.
every line, every word.
Yeah.
And Harrison would lay out 200-page journals.
I would order 30 of them from, at the time, Amazon. I'd get it back, and the pages would be flipped, and I'd be like, I would be pissed. I wasted so much money.
30 of them.
And then I would do it again. I don't like this. And then we never I'm not great at self-promotion. I mean, genuinely, it takes people around me to be like, bro, you need to make content. Like, you got to push. You got to go. And then I'm like, okay. And so that was never promoted. I mean, no one ever even knew we did that. And then it's kind of crescendoed into this, I think, a really powerful platform that if you use it, it'll work. I mean, if you structure yourself, because it's not just a habit tracker, it's got challenges, rules, of course, to lay out. Because I think pointless discipline is pointless, right? Like, you'll snap back, and if you put tyrannical discipline on yourself, you'll snap back and you'll resent yourself, and there'll just be like a child within that'll be like, screw you, and then you'll regress super hard. And so
Discipline under what?
Yeah,
and
100%.
Stay after the what?
It's got to be oriented, and then it can't be. I'm not gonna say forever, but we can rise to challenges when it's 40 days, 70 days, 100 days. When you say, hey, this isn't forever, and so we have challenges. And then the other thing I love is rules. Like, I've really been able to shape myself by just setting what I'd call like hard rules. And you don't have to be perfect. I mean, I could say no eating fried food's a rule, but as long as I'm above 95% over a long term, then I'm doing pretty well for myself. So the platform has challenge rules. Obviously, setting clear goals. Clarity is power. You got to have that. Classic the U dashboard, layout, morning routine, evening routine, critical tasks. And then we have the mind and body. So we'll have some nice workout tracks that will really start to push, and then a place for you to track how much you read. Because at the end of not pages, but time. Like, how much are you allocating towards study? And it doesn't have to be, while I'm reading, okay, now I'm journaling, stop. It's more of just like, how much are you allocating towards the intake of knowledge? So that's that platform. We'll see how we can spin it off and where we can push it, because we're 2 weeks in. But I'm super excited about it, because it's something that I look at things pretty simply, and the two powers I see are human agency and divine providence. Like, those two meet in the moment. And so if you can maximize human agency and then you can attune people to divine providence, you can really shape somebody's life. So the One Business U Project, it's all about human agency. It's not one could say, where's the Christian spin? Honestly, we'll push the faith. We'll push, because we can push challenges out through a central admin dashboard. And so this, as Lent comes up, we'll push some serious challenges.
Think of the quote that's on the back of the one sweatshirt we've sold: "Be who God meant you to be, and you will set the world on fire." Like,
and you're not made for comfort. You're made for greatness.
That's right.
Like, the world offers you comfort.
Well, grace builds on nature too. So human agency, like there's by nature of pushing people to become fully human, a Christian aspect to it.
100%.
Because that is what we were made for.
100%.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything leads to
Yeah,
truth.
amen.
All roads converge as they go higher.
Yeah, and so that's one. Can I say the other one, and then we'll just let it play?
Go.
And then the other business that I'm super passionate about, I would say saved my life my junior year of college. Senior to fifth year of college was definitely the lowest point, not of my life. I won't say it's the lowest point, but I was so stressed. If I would have put like stressed, anxious, overwhelmed, if I would have let myself say that, it was that to a T. I mean, it was what we were trying to do at that time, because we had college lacrosse. We played at lacrosse in North Carolina. We had practice at 6 a.m. We were in the business school. We also had Sunbite. Then we had our lacrosse businesses back at home that we'd like drive back to Carolina. That was like 8-hour drives. I wrote a book. Like, I somehow, over that time period, I wrote a book was still reading, and all throughout college, we had this weird belief in our head that like we had to graduate millionaires. And so like we had a donut shop. We had a donut shop where on the weekends when we could rest, on Sundays we would make dough until like 11:30. On Saturday we'd make dough until 11:30. We'd wake up on Sunday at 4 and we'd start rolling dough. And so we were zapped. And we were doing that while we were college lacrosse players.
Yeah.
I look back, I'm like, what the hell was I doing? Like, what was I trying to, literally what we were trying to do?
We weren't optimizing anything. We
Yeah,
were
yeah.
maximizing a bunch of nothing.
We were spread so thin. And so I eventually hit like a rock bottom. Nervous system, spiritually, was dead inside. Heart was just blasted. And I was like, I have to emotionally rehab myself. I mean, I have to, and fortunately got to dive into the Eastern mysticism, the deep Christian, like, spiritual tradition. At the time, we weren't Catholic. We weren't really Christian. It was post-COVID, so we were like mega church Christian, and then we're like, I was super far. This is a long story, and I apologize, but I was deep into Buddhism, Hinduism, New Age spirituality. One thing about
everything.
Yeah, one thing about Henry and I
We've rode every road to its end.
Yeah, when I was
You mean when you guys get on something, you see it through?
go hard. Yeah. Well, what happened was when we were 16. And then I'll explain the business. When I was 16, I read over like 100 books a year for 5-6 years. I mean, read a lot, high volume reading. Didn't really care about school, but I really saw a light and a glimmer in topics, and I'd follow it. I'd read as fast as I could, and would just figure out where the next thread would lead. And I went through Hinduism, Buddhism, and all those things. And so I was like, okay, meditation. I've got to calm my nervous system. I got to get myself back to the present moment. And then, fortunately, we found a Christian path, and one of our great friends in college, he was a priest, and he was top of the business school, had graduated top of the MAC program, had a job at Goldman Sachs, full ride to go study at Oxford, turned it down to become a priest.
Come on.
Turned it down to enter the seminary, and we're like, dude, you got to tell me what, like, I have a lot of books, you have more books, and you make a decision that doesn't compute to me. Like, I was a guy who said, religion is like putting a fish in a fishbowl in the ocean. Like, let that fish swim. Like, everything's God. He's like, no. You heard of G.K. Chesterton? Like, if there's no fence, the kids don't play.
Yeah.
And then and this is when Damascus comes into play. And I really hammered there. But point is, the business itself started in college, and it was originally called Brainwave Technologies because it was like tools to train your nervous system to be your ally, not your enemy. There's this concept called touch therapy for stress, and that if you put a wearable on your body, it will anchor your nervous system. And that once the Christian awakening, but not awakening, it was a rediscovering of the Christian truth. I was like, okay, if we stack spiritual training on top of this, and you use the pulse pattern to really guide contemplative prayer, you can have a powerful system that 15-minute contemplative prayer practice in the morning, every 15 minutes to an hour, that pulse pattern re-arises, and you realign, recommit, resurrender, and reorient yourself throughout the day. Like, you become who you practice to be, and that is a powerful. And I did that. I blew up Garmin watches because I would relentlessly set 40-minute timers, and when they would go off, I would genuinely be like, how's my focus, how's my energy, what matters the most, what am I grateful for, all right, thank you God. And I practice hard because I was like, I have to emotionally rehab myself. I mean, I'm genuinely, if I let this mood become a temperament, then a personality trait, I'm gonna be like just a brutal guy to be around. I was miserable. My heart was heavy as hell. And
Listening to Migos all day long.
Blasting, like walking in class.
Sometimes.
We didn't know about
Sometimes.
So that wasn't regulating you? Migos?
That wasn't.
No. A$AP Ferg was not making me happy. But that genuinely, I would say, like, changed my life, saved my life. And then the Catholicism, seeing the difference and learning the difference between Catholicism, Protestantism, the concept that flesh is the hinge of salvation, the sacramental, the church being a sacrament of salvation, and just starting to understand that, not like the concept of a symbol, but invisible reality meeting like a physical vehicle, and understanding that the transformation has to ripple through your whole body. And so then the business, to wrap to it, now called Sanctus Health and Performance, we want to do the first of its kind Christian wellness wearable that integrates prayer as a restorative practice. So brings together 24/7 biometrics and pulse and touch therapy for stress, and then stack spiritual training on top of that to hopefully not so much niche down whoop, but take whoop, niche down super hard and be like, hey, you need sleep, stress, recovery. But what we need to be able to do is, the modern man's nervous system, the modern person's nervous system is completely out of whack, and you have to retrain yourself back to the present moment to be more present, focused, intentional, and then practicing emotions, like genuinely feeling gratitude, feeling joy. And then I've derived immense benefit from resurrendering. Like, Lord, I have no idea what to do next, but this is yours. Boop, and just practicing handing it over. I mean, people could say you guys are trying to do a lot. I'm like, well, I mean, I surrender I'm doing the practice. Like, I have the prototype on my wrist, and probably will go. I don't know what time it is right now, but the last it goes off at 9:30, so it might go off again.
That thing, is that allowed?
Yeah, this is it's just a black band right now.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
But by the time hopefully this airs, we have the actual one. But yeah, those are the two passion points that, like I was saying before, human agency, divine providence. I think that's the tuning into divine providence, because I mean, we're around a lot of guys, a lot of people that I'm sure, of course, you guys are. They're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do in my life. And you're like, it's something you attune yourself to, that you like listen for, and you feel, and you see the glimmer, and you follow, and that it takes an interiority that people lack in the modern day. Like, if you're always on your phone, or you're always chasing the next external hit, you don't. Well, in the language of the Sanctus branding, it's like you lack the interiority to direct change, and so you have to train that. I mean, that is what we're saying, the Christian meditation and the mentor orientation, finding your sacred center, establishing a divine rhythm. That's what helped me, and that's why I think if we pull this off in a quality way, I mean, I think it's going to work. We're going to let the market decide, but those are the two passions for sure.
That's amazing.
And I think important.
Well, also the not starting over.
Insane.
So I think that's what I mean. Like, you guys have both been talking about it. Well, it took so. Well, it's not even that it takes so long. It's even that, like, it takes a lot of different paths that you have to then entrust to the Lord and say, like, how are you bringing this stuff together? Yeah. Like, how does rolling dough on a Sunday morning connect to like the Buddhism and New Age stuff I was chasing down a rabbit hole, all the way to like today? And the Lord actually structures even our crooked paths into ultimately where He sends us.
I mean, the donut thing taught us some beautiful things, because we were literally serving donuts out of our back window of our house.
During COVID.
It was during COVID, so there was no community. All of Chapel Hill was completely shut down.
Sure.
And Harrison and I were like, we need to bring the students together. Like, there needs to be a place students can kind of meet. And so we put this joke, COVID force field, around our house with copy paper, wrote on it.
COVID force field.
That's amazing.
We didn't have masks on because we refused to wear them. We almost got kicked out of school for it. And everyone coming up would be wearing masks, and we were just smiling. I'd be handing them donuts. No mask, no gloves, just here. And they would have masks, and we'd just be smiling.
In our final Sunday, we sold over 2,000 donuts.
That's insane.
2,000 donuts. We'd have
450
200.
It's just so crazy.
The line would be going down the street.
It's so fun.
Our lacrosse guys, so we lived obviously lacrosse houses everywhere. The lacrosse guys would be out like throwing the football. I mean, it was one of the cooler things that we've been able to be a part of.
I love that too, because being even like at your guys' house when I got to come down and visit last spring, it was the seeing Nando's nuts, like the sign up of my little bookshelf. I'm like, those things are so important, because when you look back, like, I mean, it's easy to say, okay, yeah, we dumped X number of dollars into something, and
X
people could
number
look
of
at that and be
hours.
like, oh, that's a failure. And it's like, no, that was not a failure, right? And to be able to have those things that you can look back, like the sign or just the memories too, because those things then become memory stones in a lot of ways, right? To be able to look back over your life and be like, okay, the reason we're so close to launching this wearable and it being a success is because of all the things that got us to this point, right? And so I think that's one of the most undervalued, underrated things about dreaming is people, I think you said it earlier, Harrison, is just that idea of people can dream, but then it takes the ability to have like the dedication, commitment to be able to see that through, right? And if you don't do that, then you're just like everybody else in the world, and you're never gonna see it through.
Perpetually living in fantasy.
Yeah. Action is so rare, and it's unbelievable. Just the fact of doing something can put you in an elite category. Yeah. But that is genuinely our culture. Like kids are so crippled with fear of judgment and
the crab in the bucket is too oversimplistic. It's like a complex system that these kids feel the judgments coming from all around, but the fact is, you just have to do. Like you have.
Well, that's a huge reason for the fear of failure, right?
Yeah.
It's like if all my stuff is out there, and if I'm seeing everybody else's successes, then my failures feel like I'm actually behind because I was supposed to post a success yesterday, right? But now I've had like 7 days of failure and I haven't posted a single success.
Yeah.
But then as you can like continue to live in reality and not just the fantasy that's portrayed, then all of a sudden you actually see the failures, even if it is an objective failure that I'm not even building on anymore. I now know what I'm warring against. So like no matter which path I'm taking, like even if I take 3 wrong steps here, it's like, well, now I know the direction I'm never going to go again. And if I take 3 right steps here, then I can continue to build.
Yeah.
There's something about that perpetual living in reality where I default to action that allows me to continue.
The one word that we share with the players at like every training is the word iterate. And it's the most powerful word. Yep. And I think the cool it's all good. I think like the coolest gift of, well, not the coolest, one of the best gifts of the Catholic Church is the fact if we live off of the words replicate and then iterate, the amount of saints and the amount of role models that we have, iterate, but replicate the best first.
Yeah, that's right.
Like be able to replicate the best and then iterate. And we tell players and we tell parents this all the time. Because I'll get texts every day. Hey, can my son get a private lesson with you? I'll say, hey, the best thing he can do is come watch the best train.
Yep.
How about he comes watch
Get in
the
the
best,
greenhouse.
get around the people and learn through osmosis. Harrison and I tell the story of our first day at UNC. We knew every player that was on the roster because we were like fans of half of them. We'd watch them for like 3 years.
Sure.
And we tell them, I never missed a rep of the best players. I never missed a rep. I'd shoot. I'd turn around really quick. I'd make sure I watched their rep. And the idea of replicate and then iterate and having the humility to iterate, like the amount of pride that stops people from just being like, okay, this change is going to work. If it doesn't work, I'll change again. And if that doesn't work, I'll change again. But that's like the strategy.
So what? This is amazing, and I think both of you guys are both just living fire hydrants. Like you guys just go. And I would say you two are the most, by far, the most disciplined individuals I know, hands down. Your consistency and your capacity is incredible, and I think at our age, we're all around the same age. I can look at a lot of men in my life and say that person has potential, right? That person has insane potential. I look at you guys and I'm like, I don't see potential. I'm like, you guys are activating everything in your life, right? Like, and there is tons of potential, but you know what I'm saying.
100%.
So with that being said, I think one of the questions I've always had, even just we had a conversation a month ago probably, and the question that I've even just thought about with both of you guys is like, when did that switch get flipped? Like, at what were you? And if the answer is like, I walked out of the womb this way, awesome. But like, when were you ever lazy? Were you ever just all potential, no action? Like, when did this happen? If that makes sense.
I mean, we definitely didn't come out the womb this way. That we've been fortunate. Our parents are incredible. Our dad, he would have this rule. We never had an Xbox, never had a PS4, didn't have any of that stuff. And he'd have a rule. We love to play outside, but he would say, before you go out, we have to have Olympic development program. So we would go down to the basement and we would we'd lift. Like we would do.
What age did this start?
I mean, we were lifting 2.5 pound weights. I bet it was like 9 years old. I mean, and
Maybe younger.
every Sunday we would do layup lines. We would go out in the sun, and not to jump off to a side rail, but dealing with kids now and seeing how parents parent. It's like, do you not understand the authority that you have? You can have these kids do whatever you want. Our dad and our mom, like their rule, what they said was law, and so they hammered us with a ridiculously like nice strict regiment. Family dinner was obviously every single night, and then anytime we asked our dad if we could do something, he's like, you can do whatever you want. And he'd be like, oh, may I do it? And he's like, yeah, you may go do it. And so there's this underlying presupposition or like ingrained build of like, okay, if we go for it, we can do it.
Discipline, do the good,
but
do the good.
Then eventually you have that age, or I know we did, where it's not like you resent your dad for how hard he pushed you, but there was a few moments, of course, where there was some friction. It's like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. Then there was that real lazy dip that we'd start to have around 13, 14. But then of course, and I think it happened around 13, 14 when you start to see the status play and you're like, no, I actually want to be the cool kid. Like I want to be the dude who gets to play, who gets the awards.
Yep.
And for me and Henry, I mean, our dream was to play at North Carolina, was to play at Duke. And then when you see that kind of slipping or you feel the desperation of like, oh my gosh, this isn't going to work out. And I try to stress that to people. It's like your life might not go the way you want it.
Yeah.
Like it actually might not work out. You might not achieve it. If you don't put everything you have into this, the window will pass. Things don't have to work out.
Yeah.
And so
you just don't want to ask what if.
Yeah. And so you better go all in. And so fortunate, the high school we went to, they gave us the keys to the weight room. And that was when we really started to feel what it was to like have those moments where I'm standing on a run at 5:15 in the morning and it's dead silent and I feel different. Like I walk into school and I'm looking at people, or I'm standing on the field at a game and I get to look across at someone. I'm like, I outwork you in every single way, and you cannot take that from me. And that's like where confidence started to come from, a level of moral authority.
Yep.
You just felt that. It's something I could feel in the way people started to treat me. I'm like, oh, this works. Like this just flat out works.
Yeah.
I mean, if you work hard and you don't ask for applause, you don't you don't post it. Back then we weren't posting about it.
Maximize your potential.
Yeah, and you, because again, like you're saying, everybody is potentially good. Very few people are actually good because that jump is miserable. Like it's painful, it's miserable, it's gut wrenching, it's sad. Like I mean, the amount of mornings or evenings that Henry probably cried alone. I probably cried alone. Like still those days where it's like deep loneliness and sadness, but it's like pushed and transmuted into a way of like the only way is through. The only way is through. And I think that is, I know I still use that saying. I've used that saying more in the past like 2 to 3 weeks than I have back when we really had that first big jump and we built ourselves into college athletes. It's like you are with the crowd, and if you want to set off, this is very lonely, very painful, filled with doubt, filled with uncertainty, filled with like, I might be retarded. Like this might not work. I might be an idiot. Yep. And like I might be crazy. But then you go, only ways through. Yeah. Like the only way is to double and triple down and to like fix bayonets every morning and charge. And then you get to a place where you almost get reaffirmed through other people's eyes. Yeah. Like, and that's what I see is through other people, you're like, oh wait, I'm kind of doing it. I'm either crazy or this is working. And you settle in and the next chapters happen. But it definitely was never always like that. But when you get that first piece of feedback and your friends, because we would bring our friends along with us, we were blessed with great friends. Then you're like, oh, this is who I am now. This is who I am, and this is because this is like a solid rock to build on. We weren't going to be the pot smokers. We weren't going to be the people who drank. We weren't going to be people who partied or cared about girls or cared about didn't care about any of that. We were going to be like, no, we just go hard. We just work hard. And
I think even with you saying I'm wondering how much of it is that you guys are twin brothers. Like when you have a father that sets you up into a competitive environment where it's like you have a built-in ability to lean on someone. I think so many men lack that counterpart, because we're going to talk, I'm sure, about the mirror today and the You Project. Yeah. But it's also like looking into someone else's eyes that sees something in you that you don't yet see in yourself, right? And seeing in them an ability to rub against. I think that built-in brotherhood probably has something to do with it.
Oh, it's insane. And there was this one moment, and Harrison probably, I don't know how young we were, maybe 11 or 12, and we were talking about what sports we were going to play, what we wanted to pursue seriously, and I was like, I want to be a professional soccer player. And Harrison's like, you know what? I want to quit soccer. I want to be the best lacrosse player. And Mom and Dad just shut it down immediately. They go, whatever you're doing, you're both doing. You're both doing it. Yeah. And that was the first thing of, you guys have been given this gift of being a twin. And if you waste that, you guys should never be able to look at what you shouldn't even look yourself. Look yourselves in the mirror.
You'd get to heaven and it would just be this.
It would just be that.
We don't want that either. No. I get it though, but the concept is there was more there. You left it on the table, and that's the one thing that
God would have said, I gave you this, and you just and now we have too much proof of
we have to use what we've been given. The first one was the weight room key. Like, we get given the weight room key. We've got to go hard. We've got to lead as many men as possible to the weight room. The next one, I mean, the way we got brought into the Catholic Church is like too unbelievably incredible with miracles. And then our like rite of initiation, the mass was just Harrison and I, Father Ethan, and our sponsor at 11:30 at night on a Tuesday in a dark church. We drove back from Chapel Hill just for that. Joe drove straight back. It was just Harrison and I, Father Ethan. He had a deacon with him, and our sponsor, and we're like, we're on a different path. Sounds crazy. And our dad's good.
And here we go.
But anyone can be on a different path.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. If all of this, every summer I got home, 4:10 alarm, 4 o'clock alarm, whatever it was, I'd run the same 4-mile loop from our parents down out the neighborhood, down the bike trail, up the woods, and like running in the middle of the road, no one out there, just complete silence, no headphones. I mean, that again, it just continues to reaffirm you can find a different path for yourself that then just you build this character. And the one thing we've been obsessed with talking about on the podcast is the idea of the theodrama. Like the theodrama.
Get out of your
unfolding.
ego drama, get into your theodrama.
Yeah, like
get above it.
The Bible happened, unfolded into the church, and now we're living the story that's still happening. If you're not obsessed with being a part of that story, you don't understand the story. Like, if you don't want to be a part of the Catholic Church in general, we should want everyone to be Catholic. That's a pretty righteous mission that probably never ends. And we should want the church to re-rule every single country. Like, that's another pretty righteous mission that never ends. And if you get that and you feel it, it's like,
well, then if you're on our edge,
you got to keep going.
Yeah. And if you're on our edge working in the church, you want to make sure the church is everything she's supposed to be too, so she can do that.
Yeah.
But no, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah, that we should be pushing for. Well, that's the offensive moves that comes after the foundation that you guys are talking about.
What a gift that you guys love each other. You know, like, I mean, this is brothers.
Yeah.
Like, you're not Cain and Abel, dude.
Well, explain.
Yeah, but like, you didn't kill each other. You know.
Explain the way you told Dom today about relationship.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's Egner Kenegno. I don't know what the actual
This is important.
Hebrew is, but it's the concept of Adam and Eve. When Eve was put into the garden, he was put in there as a beneficial adversary originally, and it's like you have to have that person who is just relentlessly not an adversary. We have a negative connotation to it, but is like looking for where your weakness is, where my weakness is, and then it's in a pressure filled chamber where it's like, I know if I go berserk on you right now, which Henry and I have had screaming matches that if people were to see, they'd be like, you're not coming back from what you just said.
We're way down the road.
That's the line.
Right, it's like it ends, I walk away, we come back and we're like, all right, what we're about to do. Like all right, what's the next action step?
Yeah.
Because you eventually have to find that person where you look at them and you're like, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And we're going to fight the world together.
We're fighting out of it.
Well, the world's very I mean, we all know this. Life's hard. World's tough. And it doesn't care about you. And if you want to make your spot in this world, it's going to take all of you. But like Henry was saying, to separate from normal is not super difficult. I mean, if you read for 10 minutes a day, you are so much different than everybody.
Yeah.
It's crazy. If you wake up early and you have like some sort of intentional workout that is not just cable curls, you know, and you're really putting yourself into the pain cave, like CrossFit, like what we do. And I am a CrossFit elitist. Like, I will push everybody
that to
go
everyone.
do that, because it's like, bro, that is hard. Like, I don't care how elite you are. You do burpees in the morning. You start your day in a humble way. Your heart rate's getting jacked, and you're gonna get up against that wall where you're like, oh, I could soften out right here, or I could make a difficult decision. And so, like, if you keep priming yourself there. But one thing, real quick, last thing about this, which is, even though right now we've gotten to the point where our habits make things pretty like smooth. I mean, our default setting is not normal, but like we started to forge it. I mean, I know I started in so much anger, like so much anger, you know. And so if you're, I don't know, whatever the age of anybody listening to the show, but at any point in life, if you really have to be like, I gotta change shit.
Well, you gotta
now.
attack it.
There's this great line of David Goggins, which I love him, and he's like he's running by a cemetery, and he's like, God, don't you like, please don't let me die this version of me. And that like hit me so hard when I heard that the first time, and because that's what resonated. It's like, yeah, I can't die this version. Like, something has to change, and it might start from a place of rage, and then that'll get transmuted to passion, and you're like, Lord, thank you for guiding me through this. Like, thank you for giving me the grace to be strong enough to walk this. And then you're to the sunlit uplands, and then you find your next valley, and you've climbed your next hill. But like, it doesn't always have to be in a place of like, this is great and this is fun. Like, it's going to be hard.
It's almost is in the disposition of an attack mode, right? Because you're thinking about like the idea. As Mass was going on this morning, I was praying about this idea of how everything that we're talking about right now is it's like an aggressive action against the old man, right? Paul talks about that of, it's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. The old man has passed away. There's a new man that's come. Well, it's like, okay, there is like this constant battle and concupiscence that we have in our inclination to sin. But then also, it's like who I was 10 minutes ago or who I was yesterday, it's like has to be a different person than who I am right now. And to change that, there's an aggressiveness that I have to go through in order to change that. Because just if I'm going through life kind of meandering through life and doing whatever my flesh tells me to do, you're just going to stay in that mode of eating whatever you want, drinking whatever you want, consuming whatever you want. And unless you put your foot down, I mean, I was praying particularly with that verse from Paul where he says, I think it's Paul. He says the kingdom of God suffers violence, and the men of violence take it by force. Like you have to like grab that thing and like and do it. And I think when you guys were sharing that too earlier, man, it's like that's how you kill the imposter syndrome in your life, right? When you're thinking just like that doubter syndrome of like, can I even credibly, like even right now on this podcast, can I authoritatively speak about discipline in my life? It's like, hell yeah, I can, because I've lived a life of discipline, right? To be able to, how do I look at myself in the mirror? It's like, well, do I have a six-pack abs? That's not what matters. Like, am I aggressively pursuing health in my life? Like all these things, these standards of which you have, it's like you've got to aggressively pursue it. And I think that's something that I just admire the heck out of you two for. I mean, it's like when I first got introduced to the Schertzingers, it was actually through social media. I was seeing you guys. Chris Finneman posted something you guys were doing. I was like, who are these guys? And come to find out that it was through Damascus too that you guys got connected. But just that commitment to just the uncommon. Like I think that's something that's missing today's culture, is just this ability to rise above whatever that status quo is and just say, I'm all in. Like I'm gonna rise the standard of what it means to be a man in today's world, and it has to happen through that aggressive pursuit of killing the old man.
Yeah. I think when people hear this is the one thing I'll add to that. When people hear aggressive, they might translate that to like almost streaky passion, but like it can't be streaky. No. And that's why I like the word your rhythm. Yeah. And then I saw this in one of the first CrossFit classes I went to. I got whooped by this guy in our gym, and he wasn't even breathing heavy, and I was like full sending it. Yeah. And that's what you want to get yourself to, where your like natural pace is so elite that you're running at a level, and that of Aquinas's whole thing is being precedes choice, and habit and virtue are you just naturally choosing the good. Like you just naturally do it, and that's not even close to where Harrison and I are currently, but our natural pace is at least at a place where I know things are continuing to move forward. Yeah. And that's what I'd encourage anyone to like listening to this to feel. Not the tomorrow morning I need to do 10 things at 3:30 in the morning. Right. It's like, no, you need to just slowly increase your pace. And you need to set your time frame of a 2 year. Let me not judge myself for at least 100 days. I'll do this for 100 days. I'll do this for 100 days
all the time. Because the brain or the mind will think through this concept of duration, path, outcome. And if you really you can play with the duration of things. Henry and I for everybody, we wake up early. We can trick ourselves very easily and to be like, all right, I don't want to get up. I'll give myself a nap later, knowing we probably won't nap later. But like you can tell yourself lies of just to get through things. But the thing with the elevating of a standard, there has to come a point where you just go, this is who I am now. There can be lower parts of me that can continue to bulk and continue to try to fight this, but there is no fighting. I've made this decision, and now this is just going to be the rhythmic hammering into the new form. And we're disciplined now, for sure. I mean, I put air quotes, but we're disciplined. But like we're not as perfect in the execution of the routine as I would say people would think. Like it genuine is this, what I would say,
you're landing a plane from Monday to Thursday to Friday, and then it resets in the weekend, and then you land the plane Monday, Thursday to Friday. Like if I were to think the morning I pull off on Monday is what I have to pull up on Thursday, that's it's unreasonable because I'm going from like 8 hours of sleep down to 6 and 6 and 6, and then I finally get to recoup. And so you're like, you can't be perfect, but directionally you have to be dead set.
Yeah.
And there has to be things that you no longer go back to. Like you said, the old man's dead. The old man's dead. And before you can commit to, here's what I'm doing now, the greatest thing, and this is not to beat a dead horse, but you better be able to say clearly what you never are doing again. Yeah. And like 15 reasons why you're never doing that again, and why this is one of my favorite things is you have to have a master's degree in the excuses you use. Like what?
Yeah, you need to know yourself.
You need to know what point of rationalization leads to, or what emotion leads to the point of rationalization, which leads to the action that you don't want to have happen. It's like once you can write an essay about those. Let's just start again tomorrow. Oh, I'll go to confession over this.
Thoughts drive attitudes, attitudes drive behavior. If I don't get that pathway.
And if you know that, like, your emotions are just triggering a program. I mean, genuinely, and that's why the cold shower, I mean, I know you guys probably all love, like, cold shower stints. It's because the cold shower puts you up against that flight or fight ability of your mind to rationalize the most ridiculous reasons why I shouldn't go put my body into this cold water. It's like, you're not going to die, but your mind, you in a moment have a magnifying glass of how creative you can become. And that was like my life changed 2022. My New Year's resolution was I'm going to take a cold shower the whole entire year. Well, January 5th, or we played Harvard. Let's say we play Harvard like February 12th. Coldest game of our lives. Coldest game of our lives. To the point
guys
that
were showering with their cleats on
to the
because they
point
couldn't even take them off.
People ran into the locker room with their gear still on, turned on the hot water, and got in with their gear on because their hands were too cold to take everything off. That day when I took that cold shower, I mean, I came out. It was like a new Harrison was born. That was like,
of course.
It's when you want to do it to the least, and if you are able to rage it
most.
Oh my gosh! And every single like time where there was moments where, because of course there's 60.
Time out. You said you took. So after the game, you took a cold shower.
Yes. That whole year I took a cold shower.
But that particular moment, there's a decision that's made.
Decision, I had every single excuse to be like, I'm not going to take a cold shower. I mean, this is, am I an idiot? But it's like, no, I said it. I said this. Like, I said I was going to do this. And there would be moments where, and this is a classic, like, I mean, this is a dumb prank, but say there's 64 guys showering, 10 shower heads. You finish your shower, you turn it on cold, and you let the, like, guy coming in get into a cold shower, and he's like, and he, like, points it. Well, guys would, like, jokingly do that to me, and I'd walk into the cold shower. It wouldn't phase me. I'm like, just thank you, brother.
They already got it ready for me.
They'd be looking like,
how'd you guys know this was all a thing?
Dude, psycho.
Dude's a crazy person. No, I love that. Well, those decisions. I mean, I think the wrestle for me has always been this, like, because there's these I don't want to call them like false dichotomies, but there's these streams of thought that go in both directions, right? So set the bar sufficiently low that some idiot like you will do it tomorrow, and make sure that you're pushing yourself every single day. Those seem dichotomous, but they're not, because you need to set the bar to where you actually attack it, and then once you attack it, once you get there, will you go the extra rep? Will you actually go until you're out of breath, and then set the bar higher tomorrow? I think when I think of you guys, I don't think of like perfect discipline like you were saying. What I think of are genuinely are two brothers of mine that have committed in their life to setting a bar and a standard that just is the standard. No permission to lower the bar. And again, I know I'm mixing my metaphors. I'll go back to the other one in a minute. But like, no permission to lower the bar. But even when I don't hit it, I'll allow the Lord to fill the gap with mercy, and I'm going to show up the next day. Like there's something to that mode of operation, but there's also something to the mode of operation that's like, if someone listening is like, I got to get back on the horse. It's like, tomorrow set your alarm and actually get up to it. And then what you're going to realize is like, I don't know how to fill my time. Great. Then pick one thing to fill your time with. And then build that in. And then once you get to a place where you've started making decisions that are different than the old man would have made, now's the perfect moment to go. And the bar and standard will be here in perpetuity. And I'm going after that thing, and I'm going to like fail to hit it the majority of my days. I mean, that's holiness. 100%. That's sanctification. Like I will, even what you were saying, the iteration point, like holiness is a matter of looking at Jesus saying, I'm going to imitate you. and one day I'll represent you. It goes from imitation to representation. And that happens over time because I've made it a discipline to imitate what I see in you. I'm imitating what I see in you. I'm imitating what I see in you. Now all of a sudden my default action in life is what I can perceive the Lord would be doing given the circumstances that I have. It's the same thing as we're maximizing the self, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and so I wonder if you guys can speak a little bit to that, because I think you've alluded to both of those principles, but if we can mix those metaphors, setting that bar sufficiently low, like set something that you can go after, that you have a plausible ability to tell yourself you're going to hit, and getting to that place where you set a bar as the standard. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Because you can hear both of these. I mean, it's Jordan Peterson in both of them. There's other obviously masculine figures that are talking about.
I wrestle with that sometimes because I think one of our biggest jumps was, so I agree with the like, hey, just set the smallest step so that you take it. But I almost side to adopt a ridiculously radically ridiculous pattern of action that is so different that when you wake up and hammer it one time, you know something's different. Right? Because when we went from just being, I'll say normal, for lack of a better term, to being like, no, it's time to do something radical. Yeah. And then you do that radical, and
that's the move from default to design. So now I'm going to design my life.
Your body is buzzing. Yeah, it's a different energy. You feel something different, and then you have that touch.
Say, Lord, bring me back here, please. I need to get back here.
You have that touch point. You have that touch point that you want to return to. And so there was never I never like when someone says, "Hey, just set your alarm 5 minutes earlier, then 5 minutes earlier next week, and 5 minutes earlier next week." I'm like, snap that shit back 2 hours. Like, no, set that thing at 3:30 and wake up and feel what it's like for the world to be asleep. Walk out into the middle of the street, look at all of your neighbors' houses, and be like, "Y'all are sleeping. I'm up." Just feel what that feels like one time. Like, feel what that feels like. And I'm not saying the comparison. It's not about like thinking you're better than your neighbors, but there's something that is so.
That's the built-in.
But there's an intrinsic.
Peaceful.
There's something too of like, and I don't know if you're speaking to this, but it's like for me, what I hear is like that taps into my heart of competition, though. You know, it's like to be able to see. I mean, to be able to say like, yeah, I'm there and you're not. Like that speaks to my heart to make me want to be able to stand up to that challenge in a way, you know?
Yeah, I think there's being different.
There's
too. It's different.
There's both hands, because I completely agree. A lot of what we get to accomplish is agency. But then at the same time, the power of going up, hitting the altar rail, receiving Jesus, and then saying, "Lord, I just consume you, body, blood, soul, and divinity. Consume me, body, blood, soul, and humanity." Like, there's times where you realize He just removed something that was on your heart you were struggling with while you were sleeping. You did nothing to earn that. Like, grace just does a lot. And
you got to play both.
You've got to do both. Harrison and I, like he said, we've been in our rooms crying or just so stressed. And it's like, I didn't deserve the peace that Mary brought me. Yeah. But like, I was in the ball. I was just like had Halo Queen on repeat. Like, I had that moment. I didn't deserve
Shout
that.
out Halo Queen.
Yeah, shout out Halo Queen, best song ever. But I didn't deserve that peace.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of power in it's all the powers in the prayer.
Yeah.
You live as you pray and you pray as
it's
you live.
both sides.
It's both sides.
Human agency.
So enter in trade-offs a little bit.
Trade-offs. No, I want to keep going. I have a follow-up.
No, because it's like it's good. It's good to get to this because in my mind the question I have too that I want to ask you guys is, I'll get there in a second. But the passion about all this, like there is something that feels really, really good about setting that alarm at like 4 a.m. and be like, yeah, I'm the only one up right now. We're hitting that cold plunge and being like, dude, I'm in the cold water right now and everyone's asleep around me. But then there's this reality where you're going hard in a workout and then crap, like that was something in my back that just tweaked. And then it's like, okay, then you got a choice. The next day, where's the line, right? So am I going to work out tomorrow? If so, how far am I going to modify? Am I going to push? Oh, wait, I just got injured and now I can't work out tomorrow. Yeah. So like there's this, Brad and I and Noah have gone this kind of these rounds on like, where do trade-offs fit in all this, right? So you can say, okay, I'm gonna have the hardest rhythm. Like I'm gonna be the hardest, baddest man I know. But then it's like, oh wait, I'm sick. So then where does like sleeping in come in? Where does,
yeah.
so like that. I'm curious what you guys think on that, because this is something that's been.
We say all the time, the mind exists on a knife's edge, and so does your life. Your life exists on a knife's edge, and so if you're like you're saying, you slip off, you cut yourself the wrong way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very delicate balance. I always think you're not adhering to the routine and the ritual. The ritual is a great word. I'll just say routine. It's more so about congruence and integrity. Like as long as I can discern that the voice that just whispered me to sleep in was not one of weakness, and it was genuine, like a calculated decision, like Henry and I do on Saturdays and Sundays, to be like, hey, I hammer down as hard as I can. Mondays as hard as I can. Tuesdays as hard as I can. Wednesday as hard as I can. Thursday I know I'm going to be blasted. Friday my mind is shot, and so I'm probably only going to get about 4 hours of really focused work in. My workout's not going to be super great because our training isn't the way it is. So the point is, you got to know the rhythm of seasons, and you got to know the rhythm of weeks, and you have to know the rhythm of days, and then you have to. I'm not saying have to. This is how I do it, but it's really discerning where the voices are coming from, where are you feeling them? Because I really think people today they're not grounded in their body enough. Like that's the importance. I hate to always go back to a cold shower. Like I want to write a book about the cold cure, because it's such like a pressure cooker and a magnifying glass, and you can start to feel where the voices can come from, and you can feel where that lie is. And 100%. I mean, if one were to say, hey, tomorrow you have a really cognitive heavy day, I'd be like, hey, probably should not get 4 hours of sleep, and I'm going to make sure I sleep in. It's all about clarity of priorities, and then integrity and congruence.
Know yourself, go after it.
Yeah, because last thing I'll say, because you mentioned competition, and I think one thing I say about myself, I'm not super competitive. Like I'm actually not competitive at all. I see it more as like I just want to be respected by those I respect. Like I want to have a life and integrity where if I were to shake one of my heroes' hands, like dudes I've studied and looked up to, they look in the eye, look at me in my eyes and they're like, yo, you're the real deal. Like you've taken what I've said, you've done it in a way that like one day I just want to thank.
You've embodied the thing.
Yeah, I want to thank the dudes who have built me in a way where it's like, yo, this dude's real. And because we kind of compete, but I think it's better to think that you're trying to just create your place in the world. Like there's so much of, I hate to use the word abundance, but like there's so much, the pie is so big. It's not zero sum. So it's fun to compete in CrossFit classes, and it's fun to like make sure at the end of the workout. It's fun in those really kind of time-bound situations, but when we're just talking about life, like I'm not super competitive. I just know where my lane is, and I want to be respected by those I respect. And at the end of the day, I want to be able to look myself in the mirror and be like, "Yo, yeah, dude, 100% congruence and integrity," and you've got it. So the trade-offs is the interesting point, because at the end of the day, if I want to sleep in, I sleep in.
Yeah. What's accountability look like for you guys? So you've got obviously you two as brothers. You got some guys you share a house with, right? And then. No, maybe not anymore.
Not anymore.
Okay, they get kicked out.
No. Our cousin will be with us for maybe 1 or 2 more months, but he's so isolated in the basement. Now it is just our full sanctuary.
Yeah. So it's just you two. Okay. Yeah. And then you've got your 5 a.m. class, your texting, 24-hour PTO stuff. But like, what does accountability look like for you guys in that? Because I think guys listening, I think can hear this. We've kind of gone rounds on this in the podcast as well. Is you can hear challenges like this of hey, whatever it is, if it is truly just dial it back 5 minutes from what your current alarm is and hit it, or whether it's full send it and you're up at 3 a.m. tomorrow, like structuring some sort of accountability. I think it's helpful for guys to hear what is accountability look like practically for some people. So what's it like for you guys?
This might be a really hot take on accountability because I go back to you just want to be able to look the people that you respect in the eyes. And so
I like that frame a lot.
Henry and I are not like accountability might be just so unspoken to us that I'm missing the way we actually are accountable. Yeah. But I have a saying, because Henry and I have been in a place with so many people in our life where we're like throwing them lifelines. We're putting them on our shoulders. We're like carrying them as dead weight. And it comes to a point where you go, it's not my job to have an intervention on you. You do this for you, or you're not gonna you're not meant to do it, right? You got to figure out whether you have to hit rock bottom or you have to find the reasons, or because if someone doesn't do that, if someone doesn't act from a place of genuine, like this is their decision. It's like a false band-aid. I think they're eventually going to fall back. We're not. I mean, we've never had like starting an accountability group chat for our players. I tell players, we have a few players that come to mass with us on Wednesdays and Fridays, and one has had a streak of sleeping in, and I told her like, hey, come tomorrow or not, I just want you to be able to look me in the eyes. Like, I just want you to be able to like look me in the eyes in a way that you don't feel ashamed of your decisions. Like, I'm not going to text you tomorrow. I'm not going to call you. I want you to make whatever decision is best for you. And if you have to keep snoozing your alarm and then eventually not looking towards me and not looking me in the eyes and realizing like you're missing the standard, I'm going to let that be the form of accountability, because I think you can have direct intervention or indirect, and we're very indirect. Henry and I are not very conflict oriented. If we have to have a conflict,
We always say it's peaceful until it's not.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
as soon as there has to be a conflict, like
we'll go hard.
it's going down.
I see that in you guys.
And we tell players all the time, hey, as soon as you let us know that you're fully in this, like you're all in, you're not going to quit, no matter what we say to you, you're not going to quit. Like we'll let you know. But until we know players are all in, like we're very indirect in preaching what the standard is. Because until you know someone's all in, they might just leave as soon as you're telling the truth. And that's what we were talking to Dom about today, how important like the vase of a relationship is that is so tight that it makes the diamond. Like the pressure and the heat, like Harrison and I's relationship, it's never going to break. So the heat inside of it can be so intense, but the heat that's inside of it is what's going to make the diamond.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want. I think so much of my life, I have been in so many men's groups. I've been in so many ministry circles with a lot of community and small groups, and I think there was probably a good 7 years of my 12 years knowing the Lord where my accountability didn't do anything for me, because my discipline was predicated on if that person was going to be pissed or not at me. And I think it changed for me when I realized I need to be pissed at me. Like, I need to be disappointed at the person that I'm not and the person that I keep lying to.
100%.
And I think that's a huge piece. Is accountability can oftentimes be a crutch, and it's not actually changing you from the inside. It's just you being in this group. And this group really wants you to wake up at 6 a.m.
Yes.
And so you wake up at 6 a.m. And then you're done with that group. And the other group wants you to lift every day. And so now you're waking up at 7 a.m. and you're lifting every day because that's what they want you to do. It's never who do I want to become and how am I going to become that person?
Yep.
And am I willing to lie to myself every day? Like that is the question. If you are willing to lie to yourself every day, you won't go anywhere. But if you're willing to actually tell yourself the truth and get after it, then you're actually going to become that person versus allowing who you become to be predicated upon the person you sit across.
100%.
And this is my take on accountability is you don't have to hold someone accountable to a compelling vision if they're like all in, not so much all in on it, but
It's their vision.
yeah, without a vision, people perish. There's this great Jim Rohn line, which is like, people ask me, why are you up so early? Well, if you knew what I was going after, you'd be up early too.
Exactly.
Like,
totally.
if you saw the compelling nature of what these lifestyles lead to, maybe the effort wouldn't be there. I think that is why like accountability feels sometimes like you're cracking a whip, and it feels like it's just like you're saying. I mean, I've done 75 hard a number of times, and every time I was in an accountability group chat, I'd never pass. Like I would lose out on day 50 because it wasn't from inside
Your heart
out.
wasn't in it yet.
Yeah, I would lose on day 62 because it wasn't inside out. And so we have group chats. We have great group chats with our friends, but it's like it's just so much sharing. And when you have a group of friends that you want to be great for, then that's like.
Yeah.
But
I think
we're super blessed though.
Yeah.
We're very blessed. I know there's a lot of guys out there, and you've said this before. It's like, what is that spark for the kid who's like in his basement with his mom and doesn't have a ton of friends, and you're like, I genuinely have no idea outside of pray and get ready to rage against the dying of the light. Like, get ready to go hard. Like, you've got to, when you get a chance at freedom, you go hard. But
Yeah, so I actually have a question about that, because I think the people that listen to this podcast range from the high school boy to who's trying to become a man, to the college kid, to the guy right out of college, to the young dad, to the dad that made all the mistakes and is trying to figure out how to get some of the stuff in their life. What, like, again, you probably didn't meet a lot of students at your middle school or high school that were thinking this way. And so I know I've already kind of asked this question, but I want to go even deeper into it, because I think we just have so many different ages of men listening to this, what were your parents? Like you said, your parents were like, all right, get in the Olympic, program. You're doing the same thing together. But what were your parents doing that, like, what did they come from that caused this to be ingrained in you, if that makes sense?
Our grandpa, one of them was a through and through entrepreneur. And then our other grandpa played basketball with Jerry West. So we grew up with those stories of great athletes. And the one cool thing, which was environmental, and I mean, the impact it had on Harrison, clearly the ripple is still going. But our mom and dad let Harrison and I put sports cards on every inch of our wall growing up. Like our entire wall was sports cards. Every single Sports Illustrated, boom, ripping those things out, putting them on the wall,
sure.
every inch of it. And so the idea of you're given a name and like you make it mean something, definitely. I mean, it started at a young age, for sure. The thing that we've done in the last 5 or 6 years, I don't know when you told me about it, was you need your board of advisors. Like everyone needs their board of advisors. Yeah. And in my room I have a 3x3 tack board with every person I've read and studied, and then I have another 3x3 tack board with every saint that I absolutely adore and have read about and pray with. And so immediately when my feet go on the ground in the morning, boom, boom, I see the eyes of all these men.
Those are the eyes I want to look at.
All these men, all these men. And I may never meet all of them or any of them, but I see them every single morning. And I've also studied them enough that I can almost say, what would this person say? What would this person say? So I think that is so important. As real as the saints are in heaven, are as real as you can make any influence in your life. And we have players that go to college and they realize college is hard, and their coaches that recruited them aren't always who you think they are, and they make you feel worthless sometimes. And I'm like, hey, as alone as you feel right now, you're not alone. Like you gotta find so much power in prayer. Like you gotta be able to curl up in that ball and feel just unlimited. Comfort is the wrong word, but it's like that should be your home. Yeah, that should be your home. So I think, Harrison, when did you learn that? I didn't do it first. You did that first. The board of advisors.
Yeah.
Was it Napoleon Hill?
For sure. Napoleon Hill talks definitely about the table of mentors, but for me, I had a really definite moment, and it was I watched Tony Robbins. I'm not your guru, and if you know Tony Robbins, everyone has their own take on him, but that movie changed, or just running into him changed it changed my life to a point where this is a take it or leave this story. This is crazy. One of the craziest stories I have. So Tony Robbins, I'm not your guru. He goes, I was born Anthony Robbins. I built Tony Robbins, and he runs through kind of how he did it. And it started this concept of incantations. And I'm at this point where Tony Robbins, force of nature type guy. Yes. Because there's this saying, the hero of today is the character of tomorrow. Meaning what you admire, your spirit is going to
other way.
No. Who you idolize today is who you will become tomorrow.
Okay, I got
the
you.
hero of today is your character tomorrow. I now know to say that. But back at the time, it was just like an intuition. Meaning, I saw him he has something that's so otherworldly. I've never seen a man like this. Well, I mean, it was so inspiring. For 60 days straight, I woke up at it was early enough to where I could go on a 40-minute run and I could scream, yell nonstop. I'm effing unstoppable. I'm effing. I mean, I literally would. He said do incantations. I did it, and he was like,
How old were you at this point when you were doing this?
16. I mean, cool. It was 16 or 17 because it was when I was going into college, and I did the thing. And there's this Emerson line, like Henry was saying. I have a beautiful tack board that has all of the dudes that I've studied, and I will at some days just take my coffee up there, sit, and I'll look at them because I've read Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Let's just have a conversation.
I've read Ralph Waldo Emerson and James Allen every single morning for 8 years. I mean, if you don't think that I am thinking implicitly through the lens of these men, and again, I could name every single dude who has, I would say, mentored me to a way of I would listen to speeches and books for so long, but Emerson line, do the thing, have the power. I heard that movie and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I'm gonna do the thing. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna do it for 60 days. Let's see what happens. He's like, your body's gonna feel and stuff.
And I mean, I would be on like cloud 9 after it. And the day I ended was I was sprinting down the street, yelling this. And my neighbor's walking out. And I look him in the eyes and I'm yelling, I'm effing it. I like yell at him. He's like, yeah. And he yells back. And I was like,
told our dad about it. He was dying.
I was like super embarrassed, but not super embarrassed. I was like, all right, that must be like my last day. And you're going out, and like 20 minutes in, I'm making myself laugh because I'm like, yeah, birds, you heard that. I'm like genuinely like having a fun time with it.
Yeah.
I'm laughing. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like if anyone were to see me right now, they'd be like, this dude is ridiculous. And I'm at the point where it's like, I've burned all boats. Like, I can't turn back anymore. I'm not like, all of a sudden.
Can't go back the way we can.
I'm not, hopping on the sticks and playing Minecraft anymore. I've chosen a different path. And it just, again, it didn't feel right or wrong. It was like, well, this is different.
Yeah,
and
this is what I've chosen.
I'm going to keep following it. And then one leads to the other. Because if you try to, like, max out that, or architect out that 5-year plan, I mean, that's never how our life's been. My life's been, I know the next step. I know who I'm studying right now. D.C. Schindler has captivated my attention. There's something there. I don't know what it is, but the way he's redefining freedom and he's going back into I can describe to you where my investigations are leading. No idea where it's going to be in 2 to 3 years, but I articulated this concept of a cosmic curriculum. I think everyone needs a cosmic curriculum, meaning where is your attention going? Like, what grips your attention? What if you were to read it, you could go 3 hours straight and it wouldn't even, the time, or if you could throw a podcast in an audiobook, you could go on a walk and the time would just fly by.
First time I picked up Eldridge.
Yeah, and 100%. You're going to find those people, you're going to find those topics, and that topic will lead to another one, and you'll know when you've saturated it. Like, I went on the hardest Jordan Peterson rip, and I read Maps of Meaning, his first book 7 times. Like, legit 7 times. And then I read Carl.
It needs about that much work. It's the densest read.
I went into like his lineage of thought. I chased it. The Gulag Archipelago. I actually finished that like a week ago.
Solzhenitsyn, going to Carl Jung.
Yeah, I went down that whole entire little rabbit hole. I didn't go like true first reading all of Carl Jung, but I like followed him enough to where I then could track back and notice a few more things.
You understand,
But then there was a day where I turn on the latest, because I got Peterson Academy, and I turn on one of his things, and it's just not gripping my attention. I'm like, all right, I'm done. Yeah, and I go to the next thing. And it's literally like that. It's that of a dime, meaning all of a sudden it captivates you. Doesn't anymore. All right, I'm done. Something else is going to. And I wait for that handoff. For a week, I'm playing classical music, and then all of a sudden, D.C. Schindler flicks in my mind. Another flicks in my mind again, I'm like, oh, okay, wait, there's something here. Yeah. Then I go find a book and I'm reading it, and all of a sudden it's like lightning bolts, and all of these concepts that I've had in the past that I started to read here and read here and read here collide on the page. I'm like, God, it worked again. Like it's the following of the pull of grace and stuff.
Well, I'm hearing, so I know, because Noah, you were asking, like, it seems that you guys have built, like, I'm thinking about that classic concept of like cloud of witnesses. Like, you guys have have built people into your lives that speak to you, and some of that's been family in the way that it was enculturated, like Noah was talking about, and then some of it is from that place of enculturation. You've then found the people that actually speak to even higher than the foundation that's been laid for you, and then you can go after it there. I think it's so interesting talking to you guys, because you've set a course and you're going after it, and I wonder, like, when I hear some of these things, I wonder, when you think about your life holistically, are there any things that you're seeing on the horizon that you're not attacking yet, that you're like, okay, the Lord's starting to really point at that? I'm thinking about it because even these things, like, I'm wrestling with some of the concepts, but because we're interviewing you guys, like, we'll have to do this as brothers one day, but I'd love to lean in. I'm a fight for the middle guy, so I'd love to lean in on the setting your alarm 2 hours back. I'd love to lean in on the accountability stuff, because I think yes and. That's typically how my mind works, is yes and. Because, like, for example, set that alarm 2 hours back, but you wouldn't throw 100 additional pounds on snatch tomorrow and prepare to come out okay. Okay, so now that we actually have the analogy set, so now there's something in the middle here, and that's
can you actually hit that though? So I think we should talk about that.
Should we talk about it? Okay, great. Because I was going to leave it, because I don't know if
this is part 1 of 12, by the way.
Well,
so
also, we're just to put it at the table, like, I don't know if the guy that, like, I feel really drawn to in my life and called to, like, to to bring with me is necessarily the guys that you guys are always looking at. That's
Why?
just not
Why?
because I think that I'm naturally a guy who looks at the one who is in the basement or something, like you can make something of yourself. I think you guys take people from good to great in an unbelievable way.
Yeah.
I think you guys take the people with like real potential and you say, if you just do something with it tomorrow, your life will change.
Yeah.
I have a tendency, I think it has to do with
Approachability, is that kind of what you're saying?
well, yeah, like even the lofty ideas. Let's just talk about it. Like setting the alarm 2 hours back. I actually love it, and if you don't do that once in your life, I think you're making a mistake. What I would say is I know a lot of people, particularly the ones that I feel really drawn to, that would try to do that, oversleep it, do it for 2 weeks, and then bludgeon themselves to never try something like that again.
Yeah.
Now we have a real problem because now you've doubled down on failure, and that's a real issue. Now again, I'm not saying those are the guys that you necessarily need to speak to, which is why. But if we can bring it up, that's one thing I'd say. I'd say the next thing is on the accountability point.
Yeah, that's
like
a good one to dive more
know
into.
yourself, like for sure, because that's the underlying thread. Like I think I could harmonize all this, but I'm just going to kind of throw it out because I've been listening. I think, like, yeah, totally. I think that we use accountability, especially in like the modern Christian context, largely as a crutch to be a person that other people applaud. I don't think that's the goal of accountability, because my goal in accountability with the men that I meet in group with is this is the man I want to be. You know me as well as anyone besides my wife, and I need you to look me in the eye and tell me when I'm allowing myself to believe something that's not true.
Yeah.
Like when I haven't given Brad to this thing, I need you to tell me, because I'll give one quick story and then I want to throw it to the table. Those are the two things that I'm really wrestling with, is if I'm listening to this podcast and I'm at this level of good, I've been doing some good things, I've been doing a lot of things, now I can take it. I think we're maximizing. I think if someone's looking to take the next step tomorrow, that's where, I would immediately give them 12 rules for life. But like you and I have both gone down that trail. The story that really changed my life, I'll throw it here, and we can talk about whatever we want from here, was I was really wrestling with like my own call in community one time, and long story short, the Lord, just like in prayer, showed me this image of Peter and Paul, and it really just marked my life. And it was this, I think it contextualized accountability for me. I think it contextualized where the bar should be, what the goal should be, what I'm doing, all that stuff really in one. And not to overshare it, effectively, it was that Paul had gone out, he was facing persecution, he was coming back limping.
This is a prayer experience you had, by the way.
Sorry, thanks.
Yeah, keep going.
You shared this.
This isn't biblical. Yeah, so this isn't. You won't find this in
love it.
Scripture. This is just private revelation. But yeah, I saw in my mind's eye just like Paul limping through the streets of Jerusalem, going up to this upper room. When he came through the door, light pierced, and there was this man that was running around like setting up like what would have been like, looked like an early mass, like when he didn't know what he was doing. And the Lord just drew me to know that this is Peter and Paul. And when that light pierced through, when Paul came beyond the light and Peter could recognize that it was Paul, Peter ran to him. And Paul collapses into Peter's arms. And Peter just holds him for a minute and then moves his head back. And as Paul looks at Peter in Peter's eyes, he says, "Peter, it's getting hard out there. And I don't know if I'm ever going to get to see you like this again. And so I just came back today so you could remind me what his eyes looked like, that you'd remind me what I signed up for in the beginning." That's accountability. Like in my mind, it's like, let me know what's my path, like where am I going? And I need you to make sure I never forget those eyes, the ones that drew me into greatness in the first place, right? Like that's a very missionary context, super like Christian context, but like I met Jesus and I decided my life was no longer for me. It wasn't about Brad getting his name up to where everybody would know it. I just want to get the most out of my life. And I want guys around me that tell me when I'm not. And so I think that's what accountability's come to mean for me, so that I would push back there. I think the pulling the alarm back, I think if you've never done that, you should. I think that if tomorrow, though, you do that, you don't wake up, don't stop. And actually then set it 5 minutes back and get a success on your, because again, like we all have different experiences. Like how many people out there have had like 0 wins in their life? And we're fortunate sometimes that like I've seen wins in my life. I've seen a good number of wins. I worked for a football team that won a national championship. I like in high school had a lot of like success in the things I was doing. But there's some guys that are like, man, I just feel like I'm in a pattern of losses. Get a win tomorrow. Like that matters, because now all of a sudden I'm the sort of guy that can get a win. Now set it 2 hours back. And then allow yourself to know you can set it 5. Can you set it 2? Okay, no. Find a middle ground, hit it, run. Let's develop incrementally. But anyway, I'll lay that at the table. I just think that what you guys are doing in your life, I just admire so much. I just know that like My experience as I go out and speak at men's conferences on college campuses, I meet the differing. There are some men that should never listen to what I'm saying now and should listen to the first part of this podcast and never turn back.
I think,
but then there's other men that should listen to everything I'm saying right now and don't bludgeon yourself after you fail for 2 weeks and never set another vision for your life, because that's a problem.
There's a point in college where every book I was reading was about leadership.
Yeah.
And I was constantly writing, leadership is a fine art. Like, it's a fine art, and every single person you're leading, you have a different stroke with them.
There's an interest to it, yeah.
There's a maturity where with our young players, if I know someone's committed to a dream and they tell me, Henry, I really want to do wall ball before school. I really want to do wall ball before school.
Yeah.
And I believe they really want to do that. I'll say, oh, hey, I'm texting you tomorrow morning. And so that's stage one. That's like step one as a leader.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm right by your side. But stage 5 as a leader is like the thought of me gets you out of bed.
That's right.
The thought of me gets you out of bed.
That's the development of the human
person. So that's the development of the people you're leading.
Yes.
At first, you're like, I'm literally in the trenches with you.
No, that's fatherhood.
I'm literally in the trenches with you.
Yep.
But step 10 is the thought of me.
Yep.
Just you fight any battle.
Right now, Eliza, when she goes through a tube that's elevated from the ground, like a little tunnel that has a see-through thing, she's scared to go unless I put my hand under there for her. But my hand under there for her now shows her, in fact, that she's not going to fall. So then over time, I remove my hand a little bit more and a little bit more and there's one day that if I put my hand up there, it'd be a mistake.
Yeah.
Because now all of a sudden I've made her dependent on something that she was never made for. And that's what you guys really get after, and I'm 100% in agreement with.
Yeah.
But it's just like, just trying to attack every
100%.
angle of like where men are in the modern world, which is broken in 1,000 ways. And I hope all of them are in a place where they can just listen to the first thing. It's like, get after it, bucko. But sometimes it's like, I feel so defeated.
Yeah.
I don't even know. And so, anyway.
It's that balance. And I mean, finding someone that will help you
or
is
rhythm.
like,
You guys have mentioned the rhythm word instead of the balance word, because sometimes life's unbalanced.
Rhythm is so important. I mean, Harrison and I come with this super intense conviction, but at the same time have an insane broken heart for anyone that's struggling.
Oh, I see
like
it.
you have to.
I know that
all
about
of you
you.
guys know that. Like
I know that about you.
The prayer of, Lord, let my heart break for what breaks yours.
Yeah,
like
that's right.
Harrison and I cry all the time, wishing we could fight battles for our players all the time. And so as a leader, like, you got to be there for your people. And then for anyone that's struggling, just pray for someone that will help lead you. Like, I guarantee there will be someone that will be placed in your life to help you.
Yeah. No, that's so good. And so true. And what you're saying about how we operate with our players, it probably is more to that piece of accountability. Because I said to one of our players not long ago, it's like, hey, you know how Henry and I, we'll text you. We'll make sure you're up. You can come with us to things, and we'll give you advice and perspectives that you didn't think about. We've never had that for us. Like, it's genuine been, like, I've never had a me for me, you know? And so
that's right.
When I'm telling somebody about my story, I'm only telling them
there's a real way that's
Pick
possible
yourself up
like
and
this.
go.
what I've done. But if I were to have to make sure, like, okay, you got to turn this dude's life around. All right, I'm on his hip, and like Henry's saying, in the trenches with him until I see the fires in him and not just burning from me. And then the moment you get that glimpse of admiration, inspiration, and fire, you're like, all right, brother, now you've got to throw the wood on the fire and keep going yourself. But like accountability from the jump is so crucial because there's a lot of people who've just never been told, dude, you can be great. Like, you actually can be great.
People are starved for that.
And that's where we saw, that's like, I would say, built our business. That's built our reputation in Cincinnati, which is we're the first people to come into a lacrosse practice and be like, all of you can be so great. All of you can be so freaking good. You have no idea. You have no idea if you commit to this, how great you can be. And everyone knew, like, the environment was contagious. They would go home. Their parents would say, yo, I've never seen my kid like this. They just went out after a 3-hour practice, and they went and practiced in the backyard for 3 more hours. Wow. And it was just testimony after testimony after testimony. We didn't really have to market. And it's just because we would tell them nonstop, dude, you can be freaking great. You have no idea how good you can be. And so that level of accountability and encouragement of like, I just need that reminder. I mean, oh man, I wish 100%. There's times that
I need that, but
and it's possible without it. So again, both and. No, it is both and, because what you're saying is like, I never had a me for me. That's a story that needs to be told.
Yeah.
And at the same time, as someone hears that, if you do have a you for you,
yeah,
like look that person in the eye and say like, I want to become something. Like I want to wake up tomorrow. I want to stop this. I want to stop sideways living. I want to stop over promising and under delivering. That's me. Like that's my like biggest thing in life, because I can find myself so passionate about so many things and so desired for so many things, just frankly, that I'll find myself like, yeah, I'll do it in the next minute, but then I say 20 things.
Yeah, so that is actually a question I want to have you ask for you guys, because I think Sam like kicks Brad and I's butts when it comes to this area of our lives. Where Brad and I particularly just love, like, not to say you don't, you do love people, but we just love people, and a lot of times get caught up with people, and we love being surrounded by people and
helping
and
people.
Spending too much time with people
doing
to the
their
point
passion
where
thing
we,
instead
and,
of my
yeah, and then we
progress.
don't get anything done, and then Sam's like over here three books down,
Monk
and
mode.
we're like, we still want to write that, but that's a struggle of ours. And I think one of the questions that I've had, because this is personally something that sways me to sometimes not accomplish what I want to accomplish in my life, is has there been a moment for you guys, or have there been moments where you were at a place where people you either looked up to or were alongside almost convinced you that you were crazy, or almost convinced you don't do that, don't do this. And what did, like, go into that, like, not just like, oh yeah, that happened and then I did this and that, but like, what did that feel like, oh, I might actually just slow down, I might actually not do it.
I mean, there's trade-offs to everything. So I would say, like, if you were to look at my phone right now, I probably have 280 unread messages, and I don't pick up the phone. Like, I have slight response anxiety, and my friends know not really to text me because I might not get back to them. And so there's points in which Henry and I have very strong conviction on things, but like, we've made massive trade-offs where, I mean, our social lives are basically non-existent. We are full in on the trenches, and so like that, and we tell this to our players.
The story about our mom, and when we were doing the 2-a-days and we'd come home and we'd be so dead, and we're like, Mom, never tell us to rest.
Yeah.
Like, however down bad you see us, however bad we're hurting,
you can't tell us to stop.
You can't tell us to stop. And that was a conversation we had with Mom, because every summer you get about 12 weeks of an off season to get ready to go back to college. And the one thing about Harrison and I is, it was not expected for us to go to UNC and play. Yeah, we're playing in 70 plus games and never missed a game we were healthy for. That only happened through doing ridiculous level of iteration over the summer. Like, we had to go home over the summer and get better in so many ways. And the one summer we were doing 2-a-days at this gym, and I mean, our forearms would be blown up. We would just be hurting, and we just had a straight conversation with Mom, which was, no matter how tired we are, no matter how much we're hurting, like, you can't tell us to rest.
What was she saying to you? So why did you have to have that conversation with her?
Oh, I mean, like any mom, she's going to protect us from so much pain. Like, I went through 2 ACL surgeries, and there'd be times like she would have to leave the room because she'd be crying, because I would be crying and just in so much pain. And she's like, her motherly reaction is to protect us from pain. But we're like, yo, you have to let us. You have to push us into the pain as hard as possible, because we want the thing that's on the other side of it.
It's the pieta.
100%. It is that. And then
we tell our players that all the time.
Well, I was going to say that originally is, we know as soon as you go for something else that's outside of you, your friends are going to get a shakeup if they're not going after it with you. So all of our players were like, hey, you still have the same friend group? And in about 2 months, no shot. Like, no shot. Their friends are going to be like, nah, she can't hang out anymore. She's going to lacrosse practice. Nah, she can't hang. And so it's like, yo, as soon as you go for something, you're always going to lose friends. You're always going to upset the people around you. People are going to be like, oh, you're better than us now? Like, that is a cliche, but it's so real if you don't bring everybody with you. Like, we were so fortunate in high school that all of our best friends were Division I athletes, and we'd one who turned into a Green Beret. And so it was like 6 friends, all savages. Every single one of them one kid played Ohio State football, the other one tried to play pro soccer in Argentina, and the other played pro soccer at Wright State, and then the other was a Green Beret. Like, that's who we worked out with in the mornings. And so when we wanted to do something ridiculous, like, all right, we're doing 500 crunches to finish, we get to 500, and one of the guys would be like, 100 more, or and then you'd say like some fight, and then
something.
A couple choice things.
It would get up to like 1,000, and so we were. I'm not saying we were so blessed and it was so easy because we had such an incredible group around us. It wasn't until college, until we faced that, when the first day we came in for practice, people were like, yo, you guys are crazy. And college was when the first time we had ridiculous amounts of peer pressure to compromise here, come out here, why don't you hang out with the team here? Like, I mean, that was way harder once we were once we were in college, because that's cutthroat environment, and socially it's like I won't use the word high stakes, but it's the most drinking drug culture ever. And if you're not doing the team bonding that everybody else is doing, everyone's gonna look at you crazy. But we were so like dead set on that's not who we are. This is who we are. And I mean, there's so many nights where you're like, am I making the right decision here? Yeah. Or you go drink the wine, taste the fruit, and be like, that's a little sour, and I don't want it. I mean, 100. We weren't like perfect the whole college.
Think of the amount of nights we went to sleep, and the house next door was having the party, and we're just laying in bed, and all you hear is boom, boom, boom. And I mean, then the next thing we do is wake up at 4:30, go on a run, and they're still out on the porch.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And they see, like, the guys see that.
Well, and they respect it.
And they respect it.
Of course.
They have to see the action.
Because you made a decision.
You can't just isolate yourself and then not see the fruits of it. You have to isolate yourself, and then you're on the run the next morning while they're cleaning up. Or most of them are still.
You're sitting on a hill in that way.
That's right.
We had a very nice moment at Alumni Weekend, which this was like. This story right here is the full circle. Alumni Weekend, they're playing Duke. We go down for the first time. It was like two years out. And one guy who, I mean, we didn't get along with at all. He was like lead partier. I think it looked like throughout our college, felt like he kind of resented us, honestly. Not so much resented, but he didn't really like us a ton. And he comes up to us and he goes, hey, Schertzies, I just want to tell you something. Everybody here, they wish they could be you. Like, they wish they had your job. Wow. They wish that they could be doing what you're doing, but they're in New York doing, like, IB, running their... I mean, doing the classic lacrosse guy, goes to business school, goes to VC, and all of that stuff. And he's like, every one of them wishes they could do what you guys do. And we love watching. Like, we love watching what you guys do.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you sell out for something. Yeah, I think that's why your guys' story matters so much, because that was why I was even wrestling earlier with pushing back for the middle, because we need outliers. Like, I mean, that's Malcolm Gladwell, so but there is a place where you guys have become outliers, and I actually think. Like, because in my full perspective, I think in life you have generalists and specialists. And I just think you need to know which one you are, and you need to know what you're committing to, and then commit to what you're committing to. So if you're going to commit to like 12 things, commit to it. Just know you're never going to be able to go as deep as everyone else, but know yourself enough to know you're actually committing to it. Mm-hmm. Like, don't default into whatever your personality says, because some super conscientious people are going to be listening to this going, oh yeah, I can do one thing for the rest of my life. It's like, great, but are you called to? And like, are you actually doing that in discipline, or is that just how you were made? Yeah. Versus me, who's like, I'm doing 100 things because let's be real sure though, because your personality tends towards that. Yeah. So then, like, becoming the fullness of the thing you're committing to is what I'm hearing. Is like, you guys decided, like, we're going to be specialists and we're going to do these things, whatever those primary goals are, and you went fully after them. And then and there's been a ton of trade-offs. And then there's an ability to go after more things with less trade-offs, but not nearly as hard or as deep as you guys have. Mm-hmm. If you're going to make that decision, make sure you're making it as a cognitive decision and not defaulting into a world that's so busy it's going to get you involved in everything you don't care about anyway.
You have to want stuff. I mean that's like,
well, the St. John Henry Newman quote connects everything, which is the consciousness is the vicar of Christ. Yeah. So like, never feel bad for
the conscious is the Aboriginal vicar of Christ in the soul.
The Aboriginal vicar of Christ. So you should never feel bad for, is this really put on my heart to dream that big? Yeah. Or is this a selfish desire to dream that big? It's like, no, that
That is the Aboriginal Vicar of Christ asking for you to work.
Yeah, listen to that whisper.
Something.
I like too. You're neither hot nor cold. You're lukewarm, so I spit you out.
Yeah.
That middle ground is dangerous.
It is
I mean,
dangerous.
I don't know what that. If the story, I won't get it verbatim, but it's like a dude sitting on a fence. He's looking right, looking left, looking right, looking left, and the sun keeps setting and rising, setting and rising. And all of a sudden, the devil comes up and like, hey, you're coming with me.
Eye on the
And he's
fence.
like, yeah, I own the fence.
Yeah.
And so there's when we speak to that middle ground.
Spiritual
that's why
life is either forward or backward.
yeah, that's why I go to the radical side of things because I mean and this is airing long enough to where, and my cousin knows I love him, and I've had open beef, not so much beef with him, but open intervention, where it's like he's in that place of the underground man, almost like Dostoevsky concept, where if you play that middle for too long, and you think that's like a righteousness, it's like, dude, the radical path is not radical. It's going to feel natural. Like once you find once you find that rhythm, you're like, wait, this is it. Like this is how the heart's supposed to harmonize with what you're genuinely passionate about. Yeah. Because that's, I think, the only key to Henry and I is I have a vision board. I want those things on it. I have a dream life. I genuinely want it. I have a current state and a goal state. That goal state is something I'm passionate about. And it's not like fake. You know, I'm not saying I want a Cybertruck because I think it would be cool. No, I don't care about Cybertruck. But the point is, like, there's stuff that I genuinely, you know, I'm like, that would be sick. And that feels, and this is where materialism turns into natural extension of who I am. Like when I jokingly, I put this out on my social media. When I bought my first dream car, which was my truck, it wasn't anything crazy, but it's a nice truck. And I was like, you know what? They say money can't buy happiness, but like, it bought me that truck, and it genuinely made me happy because it felt like a natural extension, and my beater CRV didn't. Like, my CRV felt like I was wearing a straitjacket. And so your identity, meaning who you're starting to become, will have natural extensions that will start to elevate your life. And so when the kid's in the basement and you're like wearing PJs playing video games until 10 o'clock, I'm not going to be patient with you because you've got to figure out. I mean, for me, I know there's a point where I go, I don't know what I am, but I'm not a loser. And if I tag something to like, yo, that's loser shit, like that's loser behavior, I'm not going to do it. It's going to snap me out. I'm going to rip myself away from it. And it's like,
get in the driver's seat of your life. Have something to run away from.
At some point, someone has to be told, yo, that's like, I can't be gentle with you right now.
Well, but isn't that what proves you're alive? Like, I think because the thing that you're going at war at there, right, is an artificial peace is no peace at all. So, like, if you have peace in your life without struggle, it's not even really peace. Because, like, the reason, like, and this is deep in Catholic theology, right, is the reason that we can, like, rejoice in the miracles of healing and other things that happen throughout the church's history is precisely because we know suffering. And the reason that we can say that, like, peace is a fruit of the Holy Spirit is because we know struggle. Like, you're not alive if you're not suffering and struggling. Like, how else do you even know you're alive? It's like that whole idea of, like, are we, like, in some kind of, like, multiverse, whatever, all this stuff. Like, the way I know that I'm real and I'm incarnate is when I bleed.
Yeah.
It's like when and it's not just physical, right? It's also when I bleed, I'm like, oh, I let that little 2-year-old down across from me. Like, that, I'm alive. Like, that's how I know I'm alive. And obviously, I want to pursue the perfection of all that, which is ultimately what heaven is, and I want to see how much of that I can experience here, because why wouldn't I want that if Jesus has come to earth already? That said, that artificial, because we can numb ourselves. Yeah. That artificial numbing is not true peace. That artificial healing is not real healing. It's like I'm gonna do the work. The only way is through.
Yeah. Like
I'm gonna struggle and I'm gonna suffer unto the perfection of myself.
Oh yeah.
It's so important.
So I think I truly think we could do 15 podcasts before we get through all the content we'd like to. I would love at this point, one of the things we want to do with these pods is get in front of people and have them live react to what's being said and ask genuine questions that can help stir up some of the, just get greater direct content to people who want it, right? And so we got some homies over here who are here, who their faces are probably like blown off like ours are too. But I want to just open it up to you guys and just see. You can just yell a question in, we'll repeat it, or you can come over and ask it. But just any questions that come to the top of your mind.
Sam, give him a mic.
Oh yeah, that's an option too. Out of this.
Yeah, one of the first things that comes to mind. So I think you guys, what it sounds like is that you found like self-mastery and then you found the faith. So like in that finding that self-mastery, they got like I'll learn principles of like responsibility. I think a lot of people with the faith and people at Damascus, they start with the faith and then either try to find the vocation and then end up like I want to get like self-mastery. But in that they learn principles of like the Lord provides for me. He's like my comfort, or like I'll do this in my season, like where the Lord has me. I'm just curious how you balance the two of like where the Lord has me and then also kind of just like getting really after it like you're talking about.
I love the line, pray as if everything's up to God and then work as if everything's up to you.
Yeah, that's a good one. Do you know who that's attributed to?
I don't know who it's attributed to.
I think it's Augustine, yeah.
Is it Augustine?
Yeah, it's Augustine.
But it's genuinely like, and that's why I think it's great to have a prayer 30 minutes. And once that prayer is over, it's time to work and it's time to gain competence and it's time to figure out, all right, here's my portion. Because there's value exchange, so there's what I'm trying to give to the world, but then there's skill and competence. I need to figure out what am I trying to be great at. And so once you figure out those two, obviously throw in your interests and your things that bring you to life, but it's like, what skills am I trying to acquire and how am I trying to serve? Because I the simplest way, and this changed my life when Father Mike said this, he's like, boil your life down to two things: glorify God, sanctify the world. Glorify God is the glory of God is a human being fully alive. Mm-hmm. Glorify God, sanctify the world, help other people.
That's mission.
Bring them to heaven, elevate their life, give them the keys for them to like self-direct change, and then for them to glorify life, and then that's like the flywheel effect. Mm-hmm. So that's how simple I think. Glorify God, sanctify the world, human agency, divine providence. I only think down those two channels, and then once I'm done praying, I wait for my thing to buzz. I'll pray again, but in between that time, I'm going as hard as possible. I think without my genuinely, we've talked to a few missionaries at Damascus, and I do think that is like the I wouldn't call it a missionary crisis, but you have to have competence, and if you don't have competence, you will fall into a crisis. Like if you're not a tool, how will the Lord know how to use you? And maybe that's like cliche, but it's kind of true. Like you gotta be formed. You have to be well oriented. I think the easiest way is to be able to say, and I say this on a first date, anytime I'm talking to someone, I want to know, what are the 5 people you look up to? Like the 5 people that you would consider are a hero. And if your parent is in one of those, I get a little bit worried because eventually your dad is like someone you've humanized, you love, you see his flaws, but he's no longer a hero in a way that... We
idolize them, then demonize them, then humanize them.
Yeah, but he's lost his archetype. He's lost like that archetypal ideal that you look up to as a hero. At least how I say it. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, if you can say the 5 people you genuinely admire, that you're inspired by, they're going to have some sort of through line, and they're going to have something that's calling to you. And then I think if that is pursued with everything that you have, that's the equation that I'm running, because it's better than saying like, tell me your goal. Some people can't say their goals, but they can maybe say like, that's how it's been for me. I'm ridiculous. I'm very inspired by these people. Don't know why. I'm going to investigate. And then from that, like answers get gleamed. But I think competence has to be number one.
Yeah, skills.
Whenever we've seen people flounder in life, it's because they don't know what they can contribute, and they don't know what skills they have in their arsenal. Like we would say to a player, like you got to know what's in your bag. Like, you've got to be able to say it. You got to be able to do it. And that's the same thing of if someone has come into like our arena and they see our mission and we tell them like, hey bro, come in. Like we've had plenty of friends. I don't believe in don't bring your friends into business. I wish business was only with friends. Like I wish it was all fellowship. But there's people when friends come into the business and they go like, I don't really know how to contribute. And you go, that's your problem, bro. Like that's your problem. You got to know if you're a wrench or
that's the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, it's like, where do you fit? What do you do? What are your roles? And the thing is, you don't have to be master level yet. Like, I genuinely just want someone to be like, yo, I'm passionate about marketing, branding. I want to tell stories. I've never once pointed a camera at anything. Like, all right, I don't care. As long as you pursue mastery, you're going to be great.
Get after it.
Like, I just want to know, what do you want to be competent in? And I think that's what, like, a genuine leader, we're looking, with software development, was talking to a VC guy. He's like, look, you don't need to have a super experienced software developer. You just need to have someone who wants to own that area, who's like, I will figure out the answer. I know the arena.
and I will get to the bottom of this. And then you're like, bro, okay, cool. I know where to place you in this world. Like, then it's golden. It's just competence. If without competence, you'll have a crisis. And from then on, you're solid. That's how I look at it.
That's so funny. Go.
We tell our players, if you're at A and you want to get to B, what gets you here to there is skills. Like, just skills. And I was with the family after breakfast this morning, and before they dropped me off, they're like, how are you guys doing this, or how'd you learn it? And I'm like, I've literally on 2 times speed went through the catechism 3 times in the last couple months. Like that's just what it takes. Again, I'm trying to get skills just take reps. They just take reps. I, in college, never touched a camera or anything. I have now posted over 2,000 videos on Instagram, and our lacrosse page is looked at as one of the best brands in the whole sport. And they think when they had us come to Long Island, they're like, are you going to bring your videographer? Can you bring your videographer? I'm like,
yeah.
Dude, I point and shoot that. I was like, yeah, he's coming. I was like, I've been using the camera.
Yeah, I think he's joining.
I've been using it like a gorilla since I started, and now everyone thinks it's
You just put sunglasses on. It's like, this is the videographer, this isn't it.
And if anyone, I think Chris Williams says, he's been in all the top rooms, and it's idiots all the way to the top. Like, I love it. Granted,
Yeah, he is awesome.
Harrison and I say, let's never underestimate our enemy. Like, they're so much smarter than, like, let's make sure we know the people we're competing against are the smartest people we could ever imagine.
They're smart people.
They're smart people. So I don't fully say it's idiots all the way to the top, but at the same time, anyone can do anything.
No, that's the both
anyone
thing.
Can do anything.
That's the bar up here and the bar sufficiently low you can hit. It's the same thing. It's like, it's idiots all the way to the top. Okay, there's motivation, and they're way smarter than I think. So I better get after it tomorrow.
It's funny. Brad and I were up in Cleveland at a Cavs game recently, and I told Brad we were waiting for these kids to pull our car up, and I was telling Brad, I was like, I think I've cracked the code, because we both with big departments, we hire a lot of people, and I told him, I'm like, I think I finally cracked the code on who to hire. It's the person that doesn't know what they're doing, but I've always seen, so at Damascus, for every retreat, there's a time where you have to, basically we run retreats Wednesday through Friday, and then there's a little break. You have to clean the whole site. There's like a couple minute break. Then you have to come back, prepare the site, and then more kids come. So you have 2 retreats every single week. And what I was telling Brad is, I was like, I don't actually, the more that somebody tells me that they know how to do recruiting really well, the less I want them. But the person that I see during that reset time that isn't sitting around like holding a broom talking to their friends, but they're actually the one who's telling people to stop talking to them so they can clean the cabin, or they can clean. That's who I want. I don't care if they know at all how to recruit a single missionary. Yeah. I don't care if they know at all how to sell one spot for a winter camp. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, if they have the ability to put their head down and they're like, whatever is going to happen, I'm going to learn it and I'm going to get it done. Yeah. Like right now, I have a team of recruiters. The most talented one is middle of the pack. The one that really was just like, I don't know, I kind of like talking to people and I don't stop working. That's the one that's at the top. Yeah. And so I love what you're saying there. It's like, while it's not idiots all the way to the top, I come to find that the more talented people are usually not at the top, which is just interesting.
Well, and use your motivation. Like, that's why I like it. It's like, it's idiots all the way to the top. Okay, that means I could be in the room because I'm an idiot. Like, if that's what's at the table, you know? And then it's like, also, I can't stop tomorrow because they're still learning. Yeah. And
learning is, Harrison, he tells a story all the time. When I tore my ACL, he was like, I need something to say to Henry. And so you started to read. And like the first quote that hit you was, so you can skip a meal, but don't skip your reading. Like, and I mean, there's one thing to read words. There's another to read them and then believe them. It's like, if you don't read Hebrews 12 and think about the cloud of witnesses and you're not inspired by that, you're just reading. How do you not believe it too? And there's just such a big difference. And the first words I ever read that hit me like a ton of bricks was, there's no more encouraging fact than man's ability to elevate his life through conscious endeavor. I read that, and I'm like, man. Okay. Yeah. I'm not just going to read that.
That's the story of America.
Believe it. I'm going to literally believe it. Mm-hmm. And I wish one time it'd be.
You mean you're going to make it incarnational?
Yeah.
It's a word
Incarnation.
that then you're going to incarnate,
Yeah.
and then it's going to transform the
I was
world.
gonna say-
I couldn't imagine that would go away.
We could spend like 5 hours talking about the beauty of the Catholic Church and how it is actually
That's
the
the
only
next
hope.
pod.
Yeah, that's the next. That's the next.
It's the
conversion
only
stories.
hope.
This is
I know,
crazy.
I know.
Conversion
But-
stories, didn't get into politics yet. We could have had like 18 hours.
We
Mark.
got pods coming.
Part two.
Any
That's
other
such a
questions?
good question, though.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, so one of my favorite things to tell the campers that I have is that you can lock yourself in a room for an hour and say 100 Hail Marys and not pray one time. So how do you guys go about like just setting the standard of what your relationship with God is supposed to be, and how do you maintain that standard throughout your entire life?
I love that.
That's so good.
Matt Frad, he has this great thing that rational prayer turns a stallion into a war horse. So I think like reading a litany and saying Our Fathers and a bunch of Hail Marys are important for the discipline that they provide. But at the same time, I would convict anyone that if you can't go in your car, drive, and sing a song and be moved to tears, like your prayer life can grow in so many ways. I mean, on the way to the gym in the morning, I have a couple songs that I know I can play, and I mean I'm moved emotionally by just halfway through. I have to stop singing. My recent one is Carpenter Boy. It's unbelievable. It talks about how ask Jesus, do you think that when he was up on the cross, the wood reminded him of home? When he was in the carpenter,
Come on.
when he was, and I can't
Come
even
on.
get through that song without
I
just
love that.
like. Actually, I can't even sing the whole thing, and if there's both parts of the prayer life are critical. I mean, the daily Roman Missal coming with me to Mass is critical, but if I'm only bringing it to Mass and thinking doing the before Mass, after Mass readings is making me a saint, like, no, that's not. I mean, yeah, it's helping. It's definitely helping. But at the same time, if you're not in the car, if you're not in
Don't
prayer,
take the form, but deny the power.
yes, you've got to be intimately moved emotionally in prayer. Not always, but
Yeah.
it is.
I mean,
it's an incredible gift.
There's
It's
spiritual.
It's an incredible
deserts. There's
grace.
times of desert.
There's times of desert.
I'm
No,
a
the
spiritual
point
master.
I'm getting out of that's connection.
I'm not a spiritual
no,
master,
it's
but it's
you're
a
talking
grace to be
connection.
moved
You're talking
emotionally.
connection.
Yeah.
You're talking connection. Like
The
if I'm not
connection's so
connected
important.
to the thing that is so other, then
Yeah.
I'm missing something.
Yeah,
It's
no,
important
absolutely.
to balance too. It's a grace to be able to be moved emotionally. Like humbly, I have no unique gift. Like,
Yeah.
but the prayer life, balancing rational prayer and just contemplative singing is like so important. I think.
That's the whole human experience.
Yeah,
that's
both-
right.
it's
That's
the
right.
order
It
and
was Jimmy V. As soon as you started saying it, I'm like, that's Jimmy V. If you thought today, laughed today, and cried today, that's a full day. That's the famous Jimmy V speech. I mean, that's the ESPYs right out of North Carolina State before he dies of cancer.
Yeah.
It's like, if you do these three things, that's pretty good. And it's
Seth texted us after one of our podcast episodes about a G.K. Chesterton line, and it's like, it's so powerful to be able to properly experience your experiences.
Yeah.
Like if you can see the beauty of nature, and like that's
it might not be that the Father every time has made a daisy by automatic necessity, but it might be that he's made the same daisy the same way every time and never gotten tired of making it.
I love that. Well,
Yeah.
the fact
That's
that you know that's
orthodoxy.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that essay is incredible.
Experience the experiences is
Incredible.
a prayer that everyone like keep top of mind.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can
So
move
good.
through a
So
moment
good.
and you're like, I didn't experience that correctly.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't experience that correctly.
I think genuine, and I think this is at the end of orthodoxy.
Yeah.
But it might be heretics too. But he imagines he imagines that when he's saying, I imagine that when Jesus goes up to the mountains, or he goes away to himself, that what he's experiencing is mirth, which is this saying of like he's like laughing and giggling at his children. Like there's such a joy to it. And some of my most fruitful prayer is just genuine reflection over my day, where I get to like re-embrace grateful moments, or I re-remember things that like I let it destroy my heart, because letting yourself feel and sit into where you've underperformed is moving. I mean, I don't know what the exact stat is, but the Bible mentions that prayer is in the heart more than any other place. And so the line, like, the heart has reasons for which reason know not. And if prayer is always up in the rational faculty, like, you're right. I mean, you could genuinely, it could never sink down to the heart. And so for me, I just try to, like, sit in the present moment. I mean, I'll read Liturgy of the Hours in the morning. I'll read the Bible. But that is not, for me, it's so much, all right, where's a great quote and how can I share it? It's not, it doesn't feel like prayer for me. It feels like I'm just training my mind to have some verses at hand. The only time I feel in genuine prayer is when I'm sitting in silence in the morning or in the evening, and I'm just letting my heart, letting the Holy Spirit just work over my heart. Come, Holy Spirit, let me breathe, try to find the present moment, and then I'll just let verses work over me. And so I'll say, I love one I've been using a lot is what Thomas said when he saw the Lord in the upper room. It's like, my Lord, my God, my Lord, my God. And then, Jesus, I trust in you. And just like letting those just wash over me. Like that's the only prayer I do, but I'm no spiritual master at all. Like I try to pray the rosary, and I kind of struggle with it, and I know I should do it more, but I feel too much rejection mentally with it, and so I return mostly to contemplative prayer.
Or know yourself. Well, and Aquinas, like what you were saying, like about Thomas, my Lord, my God. After Aquinas writes the Summa, Thomas, what would you have to ask of me now that you've written so well of me? Nothing but you, Lord. Yeah,
It's
something
so beautiful.
Something good about that.
I love it. You got another question?
All right. Well, speaking of spiritual masters, something you said earlier reminded me of something I read in Ignatius's biography, where he talks about how he started taking on like these crazy penances immediately after his conversion, and the devil starts whispering in his ear like, "Oh, like you could never keep this up. Like you might be able to do this for a time, but you cannot keep this up." And so, what's your advice to someone who, like, because I remember in my own life, there were things I just never thought I could keep up, or like rooting out certain sins, whatever it is. What's your advice to someone who's really trying to overcome something, but then the lies are coming in that he won't be able to keep it up for more than like a week or two, you know?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I do not have a definite answer whatsoever outside of only what I do. And it's like the most honest prayer. It's iteration off of what's in the Bible of like, Lord, I believe, but help my unbelief. It's like, Lord, I have no idea if I can continue this, but like give me the strength for one more day. And I mean, I'll put reminders like on my phone. I have a nice little background that it seems to me like Paul, or it looks like an apostle with what looks like the Grim Reaper, the devil behind him. And so I'll remind myself that the devil is nonstop encroaching, whispering, but the thought of the soldier's minute, that what's past does not matter, what's in the future does not matter. I literally have to win this moment, this minute. I mean, that concept of constant reminders are key. I don't know if there's one silver bullet. It's the million golden BBs concept, that it's just I got to figure out what works in this moment, then this moment, then this moment, then this moment. And I mean, that's probably a really unhelpful answer.
No,
but that's
you're saying set the sufficient frame. Like don't go so far that you get caught up in the chaos.
No.
Go right here.
Because you could say, how can I do this forever? I mean, I don't know how long I'm going to live. No idea at all. You know, I don't know if I'm going to have to hold this up until I'm 120, 140. I mean, there's going to be crazy bio breakthroughs. We do know, like, AI is going to do some crazy things, but all I know is I'm going to hold the line until I go to bed tonight. I'm going to wake up tomorrow, just destroy a morning, and I'm going to carry that momentum into the evening. But that's how I look at it. It's like the most honest player. When I feel awful, all I do is pray, Lord, I have no idea how I'm going to keep this up. Please help. Like, please help. Please help. It's that. But
Yeah, I think the amount of resources in the Catholic Church is what makes it so undeniable. Like there's a room for every patient, and there's a different doctor in almost every single room with the cure you need. And the what really hit me was, I think it's Saint Therese talks about the Father being the divine surgeon, and that when you're sleeping, every patient in every hospital gets surgery done when they're sleeping. And like when you're sleeping in the evening, the Father can do such beautiful surgery on your heart. And like I genuinely believe when I go to sleep, I can wake up and be free from things, just because grace can be active and all that stuff. So there's so many
There's medicine for any illness.
Can I say two things? This just popped my head. So one quote I love, which is religion makes the impossible possible and eventually effortless. That like is just that's an incredible line. And then I don't know, I heard it from Bishop Barron. Don't know who actually said it. And then the other one, which really helps me, is just the honest admittance of like, Lord, I cannot bear this much longer. And then when you at least admit that humbly, like I've had that, I wouldn't say recently, but pretty recently, of like just a genuine like feeling of, I don't know, loneliness, grief in my heart, where, I mean, we're trying to pull off decent things, and I'll look at myself in the mirror and be like, how do I not think we'll not be tested? Like, how do I think this is going to be easy? Like, we're walking a pretty lonely path.
We're trying to stop transhumanism.
Not many people get us. We don't have a ton of friends. I mean, if you don't think that my heart is not tested every evening, there's tons of evenings where I'm like, this kind of sucks. And I'm like, Lord, I cannot bear this much longer. But I wake up with a completely renewed spirit, and there'll be something that'll flicker in the future that never has before. And exactly. There's so many graces that once you surrender over, I genuinely cannot keep this going. I cannot hold this much longer. Temptation is barring down my door right now. And when that's like admitted, it's like what you resist persists. When I'm done, like if I'm like, Lord, this has to be you, something new flickers in the future, and I usually can follow. So that's mine.
That's freaking amazing. Okay, well we could
yeah, this is
again.
This is so.
We are gonna do more.
This is just old fashioned.
We're gonna have.
This is old fashioned.
Just your average weeknight.
We were gonna do like 12 of these long form pods with other guests. It might just be you. Nah, I'm just kidding. But no, thank you guys seriously for coming out and for doing this. It means the world to us, and it's been such a blessing. I don't think like it's fun because the three of us, at least on Modern Man here, everyone we're going to bring on is going to be teaching us so much. And so I know that I can look at Sam, I can look at Brad, I can look at myself and say that the path that you guys have set yourself on has radically transformed the way we do each and every day. And so I want to be grateful, or I just want to thank you guys and be so grateful for what you guys have done and what you guys are doing, and for coming out here and doing this. Before we dip out, I'd love to hear just where can people find you? What are the things that you want to get out? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, at Harrison Shirt. Don't know what's going to be going on by the time this releases, but hopefully what we've teased on the podcast is occurring. So if you go to my Instagram and then Henry's Instagram, that's where everything will be. But mutual gratitude to you guys. I mean, what Damascus has done for us, the quality of people that Damascus pushes out, but then the quality of leadership that you guys have. I mean, the speech that you gave, how much it's changed my life, and then the caliber of people that you guys are, it was such an inflection point in our faith journey, because it was when we were without a home, basically saying, Lord, I don't care what building it's in, just show me where the truth is. And coming up to Damascus and seeing this place has something different. These people have there's something so real here that I've got to investigate it more. And just we've surrounded ourselves with what we try to the highest level people possible. And that's where it was finally great to find people who maintain the spiritual excellence, even if it doesn't boil down to a ridiculously rigorous schedule. There's something about just genuine hunger of a missionary who's given everything up to follow. That's why Henry and I jokingly will say, whenever we have to hire people, we're just going straight to Damascus. Like, we just want Damascus missionaries, because it's like,
we're gonna hire everybody.
They have the greatest temperaments, and they're exactly what you need in a person that maybe just hasn't, they're missionaries. Let's go give them a mission, or if they want another mission. And so, mutual gratitude for you guys. And if you ever need a filler episode and you don't have
No, bless you, brother. Thanks.
we're up here in an hour and a half.
I love it, man.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
You guys exemplify the friends that make you better when you're not with them, because the thought of them makes you better. And Harrison and I say that all the time about you guys. We can't get up here all the time. We need to start getting up here more. But it's the thought of you guys that genuinely lets this road not be so lonely, honestly. Wow. So you guys are the best.
Yeah,
genuinely, you guys are the best.
It's
fun.
Yeah, really fun.
Thank you. Awesome. Well, hey, You wanna close this out, Brad?
No, I think that's it. Check us out, Modern Man. We'll have more episodes coming out in future weeks, but we're super grateful for you guys, and we'll see everybody next time.
Boom.
Heck yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.